My name is T.Amon, and I'm doing the Paralympics for my informative speech. And here's my delivery outline. Have you ever wondered about the Paralympics or who exactly competes in the competition in comparison to those who compete in the Olympics? Well, you'd be surprised to find out it's not much different. They are typically held in the same city, which would be London in 2012, where the Olympics and the Paralympics are being held. The Olympics always come first. The Paralympics follows. As far as the competition, it doesn't really change as far as the sports-wise, from one sport to the other. Everyone competes the same. It's more of using their abilities based on their disabilities to compete to the best of their ability, which might not always be the same, varying from athlete to athlete. For my first source, I found it from a newspaper article, and it's titled "Dempsey Hails Paralympic Experience for Wounded Warriors." It was first published in 2012 by HT Media, and basically it was just a congratulatory congratulatory effort for the Paralympians, their determination and their will to continue to compete, regardless of how injured or how severe their disability is. The events involved with the Paralympics are still very competitive, believe it or not, in comparison to the Olympics. The range of skill, there really isn't much drop-off. There are several events that take place in the Olympics and the Paralympics. Most of them don't really change too much, but here's a list. There's football, which is more commonly known as soccer in the United States. In the Paralympics, they play 5-on-5 soccer as well as 7-on-7 soccer, which makes things pretty interesting considering how small the field can be, because most of the people that are playing this type of soccer are in wheelchairs or have amputations or some other disability holding them back. There are less events, however, in the Paralympics. Not every event that takes place in the Olympics will carry over to the Paralympics. There are a few other events that worth mentioning, mostly wheelchair games, as far as basketball, fencing, rugby, tennis, and also there's sitting volleyball, which I found pretty interesting. My second source came from the EBCO host database from Galileo. The author is Paige McClellan, and it was published in August 2012 by the Christian Science Monitor. And McClellan was discussing how the Londoners are gearing up for the Paralympics, the steps they're taking to prepare for everyone to come in and to compete. They had to reevaluate how London was set up for the Olympics, and then they had to reset it up differently for the Paralympics. There's a wide range of disabilities that affects the people that compete in the Paralympics. First off, the people are less effective while competing. This could be based on time or effort. Like I said before, the disabilities affect the people in varying manners, so their times could be affected also. And their mechanics also may be different based on where their injuries are. Let's say, for instance, if they're doing archery and have an arm amputation, they may need to use their feet or their mouth in order to shoot a bow and arrow. For my third source, it came from a newspaper article titled "President Congratulates Paralympians on Another Gold in London." And this is common. I mean, usually presidents extend, notifications and so on to the Olympians, but also onto the Paralympians as well for their efforts. Last but not least is the variety of disabilities, and I'll list those. There are four main categories really that make up the disabilities. The first one is mobility issues, amputations, which can include your arms, your legs, your fingers, and your toes. More so, it's directed in the arm and leg region for the people in the Paralympics. There is also blindness and cerebral palsy. And hopefully, as time passes, more people will begin to watch the Paralympics, and more televised Paralympic events will make for a more competitive environment.